In this video demonstration, you will learn how to balance and close an open reconciliation. The first step is to click the reconciliation link located within the inventory module. You will be navigated to the Vaccine Inventory Reconciliation screen. Next, locate the open reconciliation you want to balance and close. Here's a tip. Select Open from the Reconciliation Status drop-down arrow and then click on the Search button. The system will only display your open reconciliation. I am going to balance and close this test recon, which has this begin date and end date. By clicking on the View button, you will be able to view the details of this reconciliation. Notice the reconciliation information, including your inventory location, your begin date, and your end date, will auto-populate at the top of the screen. Remember, you can click this arrow to minimize this section. From the reconciliation screen, you can report how you used your VFC vaccine doses between the begin date and end date of your reconciliation. It allows you to account for any doses that were wasted or expired and enter your physical ending inventory. To make the reconciliation process easier, just click on the Vaccine Inventory Reconciliation Worksheet link located under Links, and you will be able to print this reconciliation in worksheet format. You can then take this reconciliation worksheet to your vaccine storage unit and enter the actual number of doses you have on hand, as well as any other information that will help you close this reconciliation. Once you have noted this information on the worksheet, you're ready to enter it on the reconciliation screen in CIIS. Let's look at my reconciliation. Notice it includes the funding source, vaccine, a line number for each vaccine, beginning inventory, inventory received, administered, which is the count of all doses administered between the begin date and end date of your reconciliation. Please note, the system will automatically calculate this field and subtract it from your CIIS on-hand inventory. You will also notice the Other Uses column. When you click in this column, you will see the number of doses transferred, returned, expired, recalled, and wasted. Next is Unaccounted, Inventory Difference, and Ending Inventory. The difference column represents the difference between your physical ending inventory and the number of doses documented in each of these columns per vaccine line item. When you enter your ending inventory and click the Update button, the system will recalculate the difference column. In order to close this reconciliation, I must account for how vaccines have been used between the begin date and end date of the reconciliation. That includes reporting the doses of vaccine received, administered, transferred, or wasted. If everything balances, my inventory difference will be 0, meaning that on the reconciliation end date, what I had in my vaccine storage unit matches what I had on hand in CIIS. Please note, the system will only allow you to close a reconciliation if your difference column is 0. You will have to account for all doses of vaccine prior to closing the reconciliation. For each line item with an inventory difference, check for data entry errors, use the reports available in the reconciliation to investigate, or call the VOM help desk if you need assistance accounting for doses. Now let's learn how to close a reconciliation. First, make sure all the adjustments and transfers that occurred between the reconciliation begin date and end date have been entered in CIIS and appear on the reconciliation screen. If anything is missing, you can go back to the Vaccine Inventory on-hand screen to enter your adjustments. For a review on how to do this, please refer to the Inventory on-hand chapter, which was covered in the online CIIS Manual Inventory Reporting course. Also, make sure that all vaccinations that were administered during your reconciliation begin date and end date have been added and administered in CIIS. The next step is to enter your physical on-hand doses in the ending inventory column. Let's look at the DTAP vaccine. You will notice I have a beginning inventory of 10 doses, and I administered 2 doses between the begin date and end date of this reconciliation. I did not make any adjustments to this vaccine. I have 8 doses in my refrigerator. Therefore, I will enter 8 in the ending inventory column. When I click the Update button, notice my inventory difference is now 0. For the MMR vaccine, I have a beginning inventory of 13 doses. Between the begin date and end date of this reconciliation, I have not received additional doses, and I administered 1 dose. I have not transferred, returned, expired, recalled, or wasted any doses. I have counted 12 doses in my refrigerator, which I will enter in the ending inventory column. When I click the Update button, the system calculates my inventory difference, which is now 0. Now let's look at the polio vaccine. During the begin date and end date of this reconciliation, I received 5 doses. I did not administer any doses, nor did I make any transfers or adjustments. I have counted 5 doses in my refrigerator. Therefore, I will enter 5 in the ending inventory column. When I click the Update button, notice my inventory difference is now 0. You will notice that the VeriVax is displayed in red. Anytime you have expired vaccines on your reconciliation, they will be displayed in red. For the VeriVax, I have a beginning inventory of 1 dose. I did not administer, transfer, or waste any doses. I will enter 1 in the ending inventory column. When I click Update, my difference is 0. I will need to create a vaccine return in CIIS for the 1 remaining expired dose. Please note, it is important that you wait 24 hours after closing your current reconciliation before creating a vaccine return in CIIS. How to create a return in CIIS is covered in a separate job aid. In summary, if you have remaining expired doses in your reconciliation, report the doses in the ending inventory column. You will then need to create a vaccine return using the CIIS Returns module to account for those doses. Submitting the return will make the adjustments to remove the doses from your CIIS inventory. You will need to wait at least 24 hours after closing your current reconciliation before creating the return. Please review the job aid on how to create a vaccine return in CIIS. Remember, anytime you enter information or make edits to your reconciliation, click the Update button to save your information. Notice everything in my inventory difference column has balanced out to 0. I have now accounted for every dose on hand within my current clinic location. I should now be able to close this reconciliation. By selecting Closed from the Status drop-down menu and clicking Update, the system will display a message saying, "You are about to close this reconciliation. Automatic inventory adjustments will be created for appropriate line items. Do you want to continue?" Click OK, and this reconciliation has now been successfully closed. Click Cancel to return to the Vaccine Inventory Reconciliation screen. One final note, it is important that your physical ending inventory count reflects the doses at the end of the workday on your reconciliation end date when all vaccine activity has been completed. If you count your physical inventory at the beginning of the next workday before vaccine activity occurs, it reflects the count at the end of the previous day, so use that date as your reconciliation end date. Remember, if you have questions, please call the VOM Help Desk. Thank you for watching this training demonstration.